If we discovered aliens, what would happen to our world? The answer: website servers would crash and stock markets would collapse. You might wonder, what do websites and stocks have to do with aliens? Shouldn't humanity be celebrating? Well, you're partly right. At first, there would indeed be global excitement. But very soon, chaos would follow. The keyword alien would flood the internet so rapidly that global servers would crash. After a brief frenzy, financial markets would experience mass sell-offs, leading to a total collapse. You may think this sounds exaggerated, but even today, many still dismiss aliens as science fiction, while in fact, the scientific community already largely agrees that alien life almost certainly exists. There are roughly 250 billion stars in the Milky Way. Even if the probability of intelligent life arising were as low as 1 in 10 billion, there should still be over 100 civilizations in our galaxy. And the U.S. Congress has already held 2 public hearings on the topic. Although neither hearing confirmed the existence of extraterrestrial life, they officially moved the search for aliens from the realm of urban legend into the core of global scientific agendas. Now, think back to Stephen Hawking's repeated warning before his death. Don't answer. Don't answer. Don't answer. What was he afraid of? Perhaps not the little green men we imagine, but a form of existence far beyond our understanding. Hello, Earthlings. Welcome to Old Ma's Mystery Club. Today, let's conduct a thought experiment. Suppose that in the next second, both China's fast telescope and an American observatory receive a clear, intelligently patterned signal from 1,200 light years away. A signal that cannot possibly be explained by any natural cause. What would happen to our world at that moment? I can tell you this much. It would not be a global party. It would be a tidal wave that sweeps across science, religion, politics, and every human soul. A civilizational earthquake of unimaginable scale. And this is not pure fantasy. It's a logical projection grounded in the theoretical frameworks of mainstream science, supported by research from leading institutions and the conclusions of top scientists. Let's break it down into 3 phases. Phase 1. Global disorder. From day 1 to day 7 after the discovery, the news would ignite worldwide excitement, but that euphoria might not last 24 hours. Because immediately after, the first system to collapse would be the one our lives depend on, the global financial market. All existing economic prediction models would instantly fail. Stock markets, futures, and foreign exchange systems around the world would experience the most terrifying chain of trading halts in history. The numbers in your account could fluctuate wildly, or even become meaningless overnight. Why? Shouldn't we be happy to know we're not alone in the universe? Imagine you're a fund manager, and every model you've ever built assumes the humans are the only intelligent species. Suddenly, a new cosmic variable crashes into your equations. Everything breaks. The result? Wall Street, Shanghai, London. Every market collapses in cascading failure. Your wealth, those digital numbers in your bank account, could become nothing more than abstract symbols in the blink of an eye. And how would governments react? Not with champagne and cheers. They would immediately activate the highest level of planetary defense protocols. Every nuclear power would enter top alert. Submarine-based and mountain-hidden deterrence systems would rise to full readiness. Would they be preparing to fight aliens? Not necessarily. It's more like the dark forest deterrence. Imagine a dorm room where everyone has a gun, and suddenly there's an unknown noise outside the door. What's your first reaction? You point your gun at the door, but your eyes also stay fixed on the others in the room, just in case. Because in that moment, the real danger might not be the monster outside, but the person beside you. The same thing would happen among nations. Suspicion would erupt within humanity long before we ever worried about aliens. And what about ordinary people? Hoarding food and supplies? Too small-minded. This time, we'd witness 2 explosions. The explosion of rumors and the collapse of faith. Across the internet, countless self-proclaimed signal decoding groups would emerge overnight. Rumors would spread faster than any virus. Meanwhile, every major religion on earth would face its greatest challenge since their founding. Did God create only humanity? This ultimate question would shake and reshape belief systems around the world. New ideologies and spiritual movements would appear overnight. Phase 2. The abyss of decoding. From 1 month to 1 year after the signal's discovery, as initial chaos subsides, global attention would turn to scientists. They've received a message from the depths of the cosmos. What's the first step? Replying hello? Not yet. First comes decoding, a process like archaeologists trying to interpret an ancient alien scripture. Yet we might never understand its content at all. But isn't math and physics a universal language? You may ask. In theory, yes. But an alien civilization's mathematics could be based on higher dimensional logic that we cannot even conceive. Imagine a creature that exists only in 2 dimensions. Could it ever truly comprehend a 3-dimensional sphere? Likewise, as 3-dimensional beings, how can we fully grasp a structure like a Klein bottle? The message they sent might not even say hello. It might be a high-dimensional geometric model, something our brains literally cannot process. It would be like receiving a book, but not even realizing it is a book. Could we at least tell whether they are good or evil? Almost impossible. Good and evil are human moral constructs. They may not apply to a species entirely different from us. However, there is one terrifying clue we could analyze. Where is the signal coming from? What is the civilization's level of technological development? This brings us to the Kardashev scale, a scientific framework that classifies civilizations into 3 levels. Type 1. Capable of harnessing all the energy of their home planet. Type 2. Capable of harnessing the energy of their entire star. Type 3. Capable of controlling the energy of an entire galaxy. If scientists discover that the signal originated from a Type 2 civilization, it would mean we're dealing with a species that casually manipulates stars, a godlike civilization. To such beings, we may not even be ants, perhaps just the dust beside an ant. This leads us to the chilling concept popularized by Liu Cixin's The Three-Body Problem, the dark forest theory. Imagine the universe as a pitch-black forest. Every civilization is a hunter with a loaded gun, moving silently through the darkness. Because they know others are out there, armed just like them. If one discovers another, there's only one logical action: eliminate it. Why shoot first? Why not make friends? Because of 2 cruel principles of cosmic sociology. 1. Survival is the first imperative of civilization. 2. Civilizations grow and expand, but the matter of the universe is finite. Now, add 2 deadly catalysts. The chain of suspicion. I can't know if you're good or evil, nor can you know what I think of you. The technology explosion. A weaker civilization could surpass you in just centuries. Thus, the safest and most rational choice is simple. If I discover you, and you haven't yet advanced beyond me, I destroy you first. Discovery means annihilation. Phase 3. The final truth. Over the long term, as humanity peers into the cosmic dark and wonders about alien civilizations, the mirror we hold up will ultimately reflect ourselves. What if they've already found us and simply chosen not to respond? This brings us to another famous hypothesis, the zoo hypothesis or the laboratory theory. Perhaps Earth is a carefully monitored nature reserve or social experiment set up by a higher civilization. They watch us quietly, just as we observe ant colonies. And this signal, was it an accident? Or has our experiment reached its next phase? Would the discovery of aliens unite humanity? In the short term, perhaps, under the shadow of an external threat, a fragile unity might emerge. But in the long term, it could cause a profound ideological split. The world could divide into 2 camps. The responders, who see this as humanity's chance to transcend itself and will do anything to make contact. The silentists, who demand absolute global silence, viewing any attempt to reply as a betrayal of the entire species, an act that must be stopped at all costs. This would become the most fundamental ideological conflict in human history. And how would this affect our personal lives? In 2 opposing ways. First, a technological explosion. If the signal contains advanced physical knowledge, it could trigger breakthroughs in energy, medicine, and materials, a revolution unlike anything before. But second, a crisis of meaning. Once we realize we are neither special nor powerful, just one small, fragile species among billions, the pride we've built over millennia, our motivations, our faith, our very sense of purpose, would all need to be rewritten. So let's return to Hawking's warning. Don't answer. Maybe it wasn't paranoia, after all. Discovering aliens would not just be a simple first contact. It would be a mirror, one that reflects the deepest parts of our civilization, our fear, our suspicion, our wisdom, and our capacity for unity. It could be a catastrophe, or our coming of age. But either way, when that day comes, we will never again be who we were before. We, the children of Earth, would face, for the first time, the infinite ocean of stars as one fragile species. Until that day comes, cherish this moment in history, the time when we still believe we might be alone in the universe. And now, the final question is yours. If the button were in your hand, would you choose to respond or remain forever silent? Share your choice and your reason in the comments.